next talk is Don't Lie to Me, and I hope Aluc is not a liar. And please greet him and let's start.
Sure, I'm a liar. I'm a social engineer. Hey, hello, welcome. Actually, yeah, I see it and face it. Yet another social engineering talk. Boring. But basically, they asked me for doing it. Otherwise, we would end up with a crypto talk, which is even more boring. So the question is, who am I? I'm $random hacker. And by the RFC, a hacker is someone who figures things out and make cool things happen. So whenever you're going to be asked what is a hacker, there's a RFC for it. So you can lay down and relax. I'm a German. And we have this nice lady as our chancellor. And we want to talk today about the nonverbal communication, because when we talk to each other, only 7% is made by words. The rest is body posture, gestures, your eyes, how you look at the person, movements, and the way you sit, move, and sure enough, micro-expressions. In this case, I wouldn't call it micro-expressions, I would call it macro-expressions. So, and the question is, when the body language is so much involved, why don't we know so much about it? And the answer is we do. Everybody of you is an expert in body and language. The only thing what we are lacking is, sometimes we do not pay attention when we should do. But any one of you guys is an expert in body language. And that said, I would say, I'm here not to lecture you, I'm here to interact, so to talk to you, okay? So this is more with interaction here and with questions and answers than me putting myself above you and giving you a talk or a lecture. So, body language can do a lot of things. I need to change the display. So you quite see that body language, there was not one word spoken, every one of you understood what happens, right? Right or not? Yeah, cool. Just go with me. We do this together. I only have 16 slides, so we have to fill the time with interaction instead of just stupid talking, right? So why is that so? Our brain functions a little bit different than we maybe think. Words are made by the neocortex, which is the new cortex. New, which means when you collect your mind and you think and you talk and you convince people from things, you use your words and you choose your words wisely when you want to do a contract or convince somebody that you want to let you in the company even though he's a god. So you choose your words wisely. But there is our little opponent, and that's here, the limbic system. We have a little thing in the brain which calls amygdala, and it's quite hard to train that thing. One say on body movement, you need like 50,000 movements to get it back to your limbic system. So when you do one movement 50,000 times, you got a chance to bring this into your limbic system. That's used most commonly by Budo styles like Aikido, Karate or such. So these guys can react much faster than we can because they don't use the neocortex. And the same is going to happen when you start talking to people. Your limbic system is going to act even though you don't want it to act. And you show expressions even though you don't want to show these expressions. So therefore, we should understand that, that our brain is not just making up by ourselves our words, but we have more what we do. So we show signals of power, and we have a like body positions, body possessors. Like, look at these two people. What does it say to you if you look at these people? What does this position say to you? Any ideas? Do I have a microphone here? Let's try not to go to the detail what they discussed, but what we see.
Yeah, I think Vladimir Putin described the price of gas for the winter.
That could easily be. Other ideas what that could be?
It's a very firm position and showing the power. And on the other hand, Angela Merkel is also trying to convince that she's powerful, but then on her face you can see this dissatisfaction.
Yes, that is very good. That's actually good recognized. You see here almost an animal power. He is like a bodybuilder. He stands there, shoulders back, chest out, like military. One can tell he served the military once. He looks down. Say, he looks down to her. While she is not convinced about what she's doing, look at her face. So that's a quite good example for some people standing there, and I think it wasn't about the gas, it was about dead people and some kind of war. And she totally is not convinced about being herself over there in this era. So that means, by this example, you perfectly see how you can play out power to somebody just with your posture of the body. Even better is this example. You know, our American friend here, what is he doing? Any idea what he's doing there? Huh? No. He's patting her. Hey, dude, that was nice of you. Good talk. You did it right. I told you you have to do this talk this way. It's very good. That's what you get. And you'll see that. If you look at politicians, you see that all the time. They try to pat each other and become the upper hand. They try to play this power plays. And yes, that's one common example. Everybody does it when you talk about this, because that is a very important posture or try to play out your power. And there's this different cultures, and if you look at different cultures, there's this one example what everybody would draw when you talk about body expressions and about playing out power, which is Camp David 2000. Anyone know this one? We had some peace negotiations between some people who don't really love each other. One of the parts of the people there was the guys in Palestine, and the other people who really don't love each other are the guys from Israel. And they kind of a disagreement with each other. And let me just show you a little video which assures you how power play actually can get even worse. Let me see.
As Prime Minister, Israel withdrew from southern Lebanon. Barak took part in the Camp David summit in 2000, but failed to resolve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
This was in the news all over the world. Now, we in the Western world, we try to be polite with letting somebody else into the door first. But this is Middle East. They take a little bit different, which means when I'm the boss of the house, I guide you into my house. And this is a classic example. They're almost wrestling over there. They're really funny dudes. So you see already there's this body position. I want to be the last one moving in. I shovel the other one over there. So he touches you on the arm, try to become the upper guy, and you just spin around and touch him on the arm and push him in and stuff like this. So you definitely see that they have their little wrestling, and we all laughing about it, but that was no laughing matter. That was quite a harsh time, I guess. And I think they fucked up in their little peace negotiations. Let me see, let's go back. Oh, there we go. Here's another thing which is nice. What do you see here? We see two people shaking hands, right? But still, what do you see? I mean, this time, Miss Merkel has the upper hand. It's not Putin this time. She's looking down. And what else is she doing? Right, she's pushing him. Kost, can you come over? So Kost is coming over. Give him an applause. The speaker. So, and I'm the president of this little show here, and he wants to say hello. And I would go like this. Hey, meet my friend Kost. What do you see here? I have the upper hand, and I moved him out of the strong position. I moved him in a weaker position, even though he's bigger than me. I moved him into a weaker position. So that's what Merkel does. She does it quite obviously. So the guy here, oh, I should turn it the right way. That helps a lot. So the guy here, he is very, they all trained for media. So what he instantly did, he's moving back. Why he's moving back? Because he don't want his arm to look like this on a camera. He wants to be bigger, so he's moving back. And she did it the right way. She comes from up, down, and turns the hand a little bit, so she got the upper hand, which you might know from whatever, but that's the way it is. That's a classic tell. Basically, it's good when somebody, you ever saw military standing like this? What is this position? When you walk to somebody standing like this, which position does he have? Good, hidden hands, could be a gun in there, but what else does it show you? She's wider. He is not scared. Oh. In the first moment, I would not say so. In the second moment, you're right, but in the first moment, I wouldn't say so because he exposes his chest, which means I'm honest. When I'm standing like this as a military personnel, I'm saving you. I'm exposing my chest, I'm exposing my whole body. A samurai, a Japanese soldier, would approach you in the old days like this. He would have his hands here, and he would approach you like this. That looks funny, but he got his pants here, and you cannot attack him because he's instantly moving. So, yes, but as you right said, he is reassuring himself here, this position. It's self-tapping. You see people doing this. You see people doing this, this. And they're nervous about something, they're self-tapping. It's like, it will be okay. It's like Mama says, it will be okay. And it's the same, when you're self-tapping, and you hear and you're self-tapping, that means you try to get your nervosity down. But why should you be nervous when everything is fine? So if you get somebody and you question a person, for an instance, like say you are an investigator, and the guy is sitting like this. And you ask him, did you kill this lady? And he's like, nope. That's most likely that he's right. But if he's sitting like this, crossed legs, that's a female position. Or my legs are already trying to get out. I'm in a position, I'm not really okay with this position. I would like to move away. So I'm sitting sitting like this. See my hands? It's hard for to see the people up there, so we play a little bit. So the guy is sitting like this, having his hands here, and his legs, his foot is turning a little bit out. Not directly, not like, typically Italian body language. You know this body language? It's a deaf Italian. A bad joke. So, the typical language when you win something, how does it look like when you win? Like in sports. Right? Even when you don't participate at the sport, but you have a good heart for one team, you would raise up your hands because they win, right? So, actually, the Japanese kanji for big is a person who stands like this. That's the Japanese kanji for dai or oki. What do you think what the kanji would be for something small? Come on. Huh? This is almost not possible to write in kanji. Kanjis are simplifications. Kanjis is actually the Japanese system from the token. It means Chinese writing, kanji. So what could be, when this is oki, big, what could be the opposite? What? Nope. It's hard to draw. Always think a kanji is something what I write with. It's this position. Do you really feel strong when you walk like this? Not really, right? So, position, body position, and the little movements together. You can never, first of all, what you never can do, you can never say this person is lying. That's bullshit. You only can say his body is not interacting with what he's saying. So there's a difference in between, like the Americans say, oh, he's lying. I had him on a lie detector and he had a fart and so it made a big needle thing and now he's lying. That's not going to work. So you have to look at all the aspects, not just one aspect. You have to look at all the aspects. When you want to see if the person is telling the truth or if you want to feel what the person really thinks. So we had the self-touch with our friend Nixon over there. We have moving out, as I just explained, when you are already moving out, the same as when somebody approaches and he is approaching you and you move out. So you don't feel comfortable with the situation. Then we have head shaking. You see this really when somebody is perfectly nervous. You see little head shakes like this. They're really fast. Stay here, stay here. They're really fast. You sure have the tone of the voice. When somebody is not as sure about what we're saying, sometimes the voice gets little cracks in there. Right? You cannot, yes, go. Sunglasses on daytime is okay, outside. Sunglasses on nighttime or inside the building, it's not okay. This person don't want you to read his eyes. Same as when we talk to each other, and I talked like this, Kost, can you just give me whatever? That is not really, and you really see this on people doing so. Then, the little girl and boy stand, you know what I'm thinking about? Little girl stand? Anyone got an idea what I mean? Who? Huh? Looking at the floor, what else? Legs and insides, come on, show us. No, come here. Everyone wants to see that, come on. Okay, show us. That's almost perfect. Have you been a little girl? Ah, you have fun. Good man, thank you. Prost. Cheers. So we have the little girl stand. The little boy stand is not better. The little boy stand, it's yours, you have to drink it. This is not something to think like, that's alcohol abuse if you throw it away. No good. Take the whole thing. Ah, you got it empty? All right. I'll keep it for you for the next one. So what's the little boy stand then? Anyone knows? Hey, I got a whole bottle. Come on. What's the little boy stand? What's about this? Right? So you're seeing somebody making himself smaller, looking up. Making himself smaller, looking up because he did a mistake and tried to convince you that you don't want to punish him. Right? And people do this automatically. It's nothing what they do. Long breaks in talking, except the Japanese language. I would say in almost any language, long breaks in talking when we're in a real conversation means this person is exactly putting his words. Actually, in Japanese it's the same, but since the language is sometimes a bit difficult, you hear this a lot, that people say, blah, 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 and then, ano, and then you have a break. And then someone, they go ahead with the language or with the conversation. But in this case, it's because this language is really easy to misunderstand what you want to tell. But in our language, when somebody does long breaks, when you ask him something what he should know instantly, then he's preparing an answer. I don't say he's preparing a lie, he's preparing an answer when he takes long breaks. What else we have? Moving head up and down. Or moving the head down like you don't want to be seen. Right? Shaking. Moving out. Sure, we have the head position as a tell. What is actually frightening? If you go to facial expressions, what is frightening? What would scare someone? Stare. What is stare? Yes. But what is staring? Try to say it a little bit more, let's say, in a assigned manner. What is staring? Staring is the lack of facial expressions. Staring is nothing else than the lack of facial expressions. So I don't smile to you, I just look at you. In Japanese, we call this metsuke. It's like this. So I don't have an expression at all, and I don't hate you, I don't like you, I just be empty. You see this in Budo, when they perform together. Let's say he's attacking me, I do a movement, push him back, now the technique is over, and we look at each other like this. And he instantly wants to go back. That's the lack of facial expressions. In Japanese they call it metsuke. It's very important to understand that we already interpret the lack of an expression as an aggression. I did not look mean at him. I didn't make like, or such like the Viking throwing this dwarf away. So I wasn't pissed. And that's the point where you get scared. The person is not pissed. That's when he becomes dangerous. What else do we go? We try to establish rapport with our audience. Whoever is this. Does anyone of you know what rapport means? What? Wait. You're doing it so good. You're saving me some work.
I'll try to explain in my own words because it's basically a phrase from neuro-linguistic programming, and it's used in sales and marketing, of course, and in all situations when you should negotiate. Basically, it's a kind of synchronization of body language and facial expressions. Also, you can also synchronize your language with the language of the person you're talking to, so you can use the same words, and you can get into the loop with the mind. And then you can make influence, that's in short.
Where is this important? Except communication, direct communication, where is this important? Do you have an idea?
In sales.
Sales, where else?
Negotiations.
Negotiations. What's about hypnosis? I cannot do hypnosis with someone when I don't have rapport to him. So if you want to hypnose you, I need rapport. If I don't have rapport, I cannot do an induction. Right? So there it's very important to have rapport. If you try to help people to relax or whatever, if you don't have rapport, you cannot interact with them. Where else is it important to have rapport? No one drinking? Presentations? Yes. Where else? It's too loud. I got feedback. Where else? Fighting. It is impossible to fight when you get attacked. It is impossible to fight when you don't have rapport. Without rapport. If you don't have a communication to the one who's attacking you, you cannot fight. So that is no good for you. Your defense will be down. That's why you need rapport too. What else will we need? Expressions from the heart. What is an expression from the heart? Oh, you see this on politicians. I tell you, dear listeners, I promise you to teach you things for reasons, because, and then quotation mark, just put something in there, quotation mark closed. Right? That's from the heart. First the gesture, then the talk. It's like the Japanese greeting. First, they do it different. First the talk, then the gesture. But we do it, the Japanese like, "Arishimasu!" That's the Japanese way. But politician way is, I want the best for you. I want the best of you. I want your money. For reasons. Because I can. Raising eyebrow. You see this all the time. You do it all the time. It implies so much when somebody raises his eyebrows. It's like, really? Right? And sure enough, what I really like is the gesture on the beat. And I tell you, I will screw you up and strike you drunk as much as I can. And if you want to do it perfect, you say, I will fuck you up with Raki. And you will believe that. Because the movement just comes a split second before the talk. Right? And that's actually, there's this dude from America, the cigar dude, Clinton. He actually did it all the time. But one time he did it wrong. No? You didn't watch Clinton when he gave speeches? He did this all the time. And we will do it together. We don't look in the past, we look in the future. Right? That was a Clinton, actually, as he got elected back then. She is awesome. What does it tell it to you? What do you think? What is she thinking? Here is a sign that's on TV in Germany, first channel. And that means, Berliner Runde means that is like a talk show where people ask questions. So what do you think about this picture? She definitely do not like this question, right? That seems to be a very uncomfortable question. And these guys, these politicians, they all have training how to act in the media. And she is almost perfect because what she always does is since she always do only that, she cannot do mistakes. She's just standing there and like this. And it would have a meaning when she was doing it one time, but she's doing it all the time, so you can't tell. Right? That's her normal behavior. So it is really quite unnormal when she's moving. You better tell when she's doing something than when she's not doing anything. So sure enough, what was the tell? Raise the eyebrow. Right? Here, eyebrow was raised. And we got here this, yes, and you can tell when somebody is doing this, most of the time they do not enjoy what you just did or said. So this is actually a total disapproval, whatever question was asked. I think it was a question. As I said, this dude is doing this all the time with the beat to convince people what is wrong on this picture. Ideas? I see 2 Rocky going down. Come on, get your Rocky. That's Rocky Workshop 2.0. Oh no, we 0.7, we just a test. We just a test, the workshop is later, right? Yes, we just a test, we just test drinking. If this stuff works or not. Hey, Prost. You always drink alone? Prost. Just get you something. This time we try to be smarter. Move this dude out of the way. Haha. Let's see. Fucking uppercase.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you.
And that's okay, he better goes back for the American people than for us. So, which Charles did you see? So that means he's not sure about what he's saying, right? Huh? I do not think so. Clinton was trained to speak, but way before he started with his career. He was very self-assured, and you could throw any question at Clinton and he would, in a flick of a second, give you an answer. So he had a very, very well media training already, 1990, 91. So he was very good trained, but what you say is right. If I look at you and I'm like this is not I'm talking to you, that's I'm talking to you. This is not I'm talking to you. It's like, does you catch me? Like, does anybody catch me while I'm saying so? So very good, get your drink. In this case, there is a special meaning where you're looking at. The special meaning is you're looking away from what you're saying. You try to go away. And you look in the other direction. Yes. Cheers, my friend. Thank you. Let's come on, get yours. That's okay, I have no problems with that. I wouldn't hurt you. I maybe would break your arm, but I wouldn't hurt you. Promise. Yes. The end was, look, the dude is totally convinced that he's doing the best thing for America, right? So he said in the end, I did never lie. Never. But he did not say, I don't have sex with this woman. He said, I did not have sex with this woman and I never lied. Look at him. He's the perfect example. Politicians is always good if you want to catch someone lying, because then you train yourself good. They have media training and they lie all the time. It's in the job description. So you have the perfect examples, and he's a quite good liar. He is like almost perfect in this job, right? Let me see how many slides we got. Yes. In Japanese, they have, and when they fight with each other, they have a rule which calls ma'ai. Anybody know what that could mean? Yes. The right distance to the opponent is in the Japanese when you fight. The same you got when you talk. When I want to talk to Kost, and I stand here, it may be no good, right? If I want to talk to Kost, I would go directly here and talk to him. Do I really talk to Kost? Ask me a question if I know something, whatever. I don't want to give you this answer. It's like, was du machst da? I forgot. So you have this moving out. Some people do it without even notice that they raise their shoulders either with one or with both. Even saying something else. When somebody is saying something and his body is not corresponding, and that's actually basically the message I want to bring over. If the body is not corresponding what this guy is saying, the chances are high that that's what he's saying is not what he's meaning. So when I say I don't know, then it means in real that's 20 years ago. Maybe. You mean like this? When somebody like me, like a clown, running around the stage, that means basically nothing. That means he's not comfortable with standing on one spot. You cannot, by somebody moving back and forth, saying what this guy is thinking. What you can do is, when he's talking directly to you, when I'm talking to you like this, we have a serious discussion, and I want to talk to you, and I want to punish you for whatever you did. That is maybe not it's not what I mean then. So that's you always see two ways. Either somebody's giving a presentation. Why do you walk on presentations? Anybody know? While we're on body language, why would I walk on presentations? Huh? I'm too fucked up to be nervous. Huh? Keep rapport with the person. Keep rapport. Get you another Raki. You keep rapport with the people because they follow your movements. That's what you do. Cheers. What if somebody raises his glass of Raki and he instantly closes his eyes? Huh? No, it means just a few drops get into his eyes. No more Raki, wrong answer. Touch. Touch is always a sign of communication. It also could, you also could bring somebody out of the room like this. It's like, even looking friendly, so touch is communication. And eye contact. Eye contact. So if you have somebody who loses the eye contact, forget about it. Even if he tells you the truth, the person either don't like you or is not honest with himself, or is not assured about himself. But it's no good. If you have a conversation, somebody looks away, it could be bad manners because he had no childhood and no family. But it could be that he's afraid that you see his lies. It could be anything. The same with shades. Something else which maybe you should, you see I got dots there for filling time. This here. Let's say I have a jacket on and you stop me and say I need to talk to you, and you start doing this. Like this, yes, that's very good, yeah. Come on, show it to the other people. I know it, so show it to the other people. Get your more lucky. Like this, yes. So he's not comfortable. He definitely is not comfortable with being confronted in the moment. Let's say he's talking to this girl I want to talk to, and I just look at him and he starts, that's an uncomfortable sign. What's even worse? Do this, hands in the pocket. This is the worst sign when you just confronted somebody. You don't want this. When somebody does this, you move out. It could easily be. In countries like Germany, or I don't know how it's in Serbia, but in countries like Germany, it's most likely he has a knife. It's most unlikely he has a gun. In countries like the United States, it's most likely he has a gun. That means when he goes to his pocket, I already have it out. Because that's dangerous. When you confront someone, he starts already playing with his jacket. So making space, for an instance, to grab into his pants, then this is not a good sign for you when you stop somebody and confront it with whatever. He's playing with your car, whatever it is. Get yourself some Rocky. You can't have enough. There's not such a thing like too big or too much. We get this empty, ain't we? Soon, hopefully. Cheers. Is there anything you guys can think of what would make you nervous? I mean, we're not talking about the body language when you're already pointing the gun at you. That shouldn't make you nervous. It should just make you convinced it's over. Anything you can think of? You scared about Rocky? Come on. What would be something what you would not like in our culture? Stay there. You definitely wouldn't like that. It's okay. Right? Why wouldn't you like that? Personal space. Personal space. And you do not like to invade people into your personal space, right? Yeah, but okay, we are over this already. So we go to the next one. Check for body. We already had all these. So go to the next one. Oh, there's one missing. I guess I missed the slide. Cultural differences. Cultural differences. Keep in mind, other people have other cultures. Other cultures do other things. In Japan, for an instance, they don't give you the hand. They do this. And it makes totally sense. If you look in a country where you have a humidity of almost 100% and a heat from 40 degrees or 35 degrees, you will not give the hand. So it's cultural differences, right? So you greet like this. The hand could be already an attack. What's about Arabia? They kiss. And even worse, when they talk to each other, they kill your distance. They talk really close to each other. And if you keep your distance in these areas, they think you either don't like them, or you're afraid of them, or you have something to hide. Something to hide, whatever. But a lot of people, they don't keep distance over there. So you should, when you, let's say, want to find out what the other person is about, you should also take his origin in count. You should try to understand where it comes from and how people behave there. Because all your behavior, the body language and everything you do comes from your culture. It's like my culture is like this. Right? So keep this in mind that people in other parts of the world, they act different. There's this funny occasions when you have like a dollar random marine and you drop him into the desert and he's smashing people because they come close, right? So that's not what you want to do. So keep this in mind. Other cultures, other behavior, kind of different body language. But Is the body language totally different? What do you think? Some things are maybe different, but the basics is the same. You will see, let's say, a male ape, gorilla, when he's in strong position. And you see any person in a strong position raising his shoulders, animal or man. It's not a big difference. If you have a primate, they quite have the same facial expressions and they quite have the same body postures like a man, like normal men, like we are all. When I say man, then I mean mankind, not man or female. When I say hacker, then it doesn't care. I doesn't care. For me, this is the own gender. Hacker is the own gender. So all these female, male stuff, I don't give a fuck. It's a hacker, period. So there is no gender in hacker. Hacker is the gender. Just to make sure that you understand. We don't need creeper cards because the gender is hacker. Right? So when I say mankind or man, I mean mankind, and that means that we all behave in certain things the same. We all smile all over the planet. We all make funny face when we drink something really sour, and we all gonna cry out when we get hurt. So that there are many things that are the same in every culture. Only few things are different in some cultures, and some cultures had people trained to not have any facial expressions. For instance, in Japan, the old warrior class, they normally only showed expression to give you like a gift. It's like you lost a friend and they cried on purpose in front of you so you see how much they are touched. That's when you look at, and that's a good way when you want to learn about facial expressions or expressions by itself, look at autistic people. They're the perfect for this. Some of the people who are suffering autistic diseases, they have classes and they learn to communicate. These people communicate more than you want to because they don't know what is the right level and limit, right? So they just have been told, you have to say this and this and this. And you perfectly can see in the expressions what they really feel. If somebody, for an instance, can't feel pain or can't feel your pain, like has no empathy, he can be in words as good as he wants. You will see it that he don't have empathy. Because he can't fake it in the moment. He maybe fakes it a minute later. So when you see somebody getting hurt, as a normal human being, it's like this, right? You watch YouTube best fails of 2015, and you see somebody with roller skate, and he gets smacked and between his balls, and every man would be... But if he can't feel pain, he will copy it. So first, somebody have to show it first, so he can copy it, right? So you really easy can spot somebody who cannot understand the feeling. The medical term would be psychopath, but since I can't use this term since people always think it's bad, but whenever you say something, you should be without judging. The first thing what you should do is try to analyze things. Try to analyze things in a science way. We are hacker, we do not judge. Judging is for the other people. That's for the Americans. They can judge all day long. We have no good and evil. We have things we do not encourage, and we have things we do encourage. We have things we do understand, we have things we do not understand, but we will find them out. But every time when you do something, try to find the source, not try to judge. And with that said, I would say I'm done with my talk. Any questions? Hey! We're modern.
So are there any common deception patterns? So let's say if someone is trained to have a media training or body language,
yes,
and someone else is interrogating him, asking him, trying to realize if it's true or not. Obviously, we can record that on cameras, but let's say, is there a way to deceive two people or peoples in the room?
Yes, definitely is. First of all, you need to be really good in what you're doing, like you're an investigator from whatever 3-letter service. And what you do is you start framing him. Actually, you start modeling him. You should start giving him questions.
I'm not talking about the investigator. I'm talking about the person that is actually being investigated. So
you're just talking about yourself. Well, it's
like deceive people.
It's very difficult if you want to trick the investigator and he really is knowing what he's doing. That is very difficult because there are things you cannot do. Let's say I show you an example, okay? You blink with your eye, okay? So this is a reaction of you get an attack and you try to avoid the attack. It's even better when I throw a ball. Most of the time you'll catch it or you just try to get this away. Especially when this ball is not expected. And why do you do that? Why it is possible for your body in a split second to have your eyes closed? You saw it? Why is this so?
Because it's the inner, it's the reaction that we are like, it's like animal instinct, limbic brain.
You go down to the amygdala. That's actually your eye is not even amygdala. That would be too slow. Your eye is muscle memory. And that's something you cannot trick. Muscle memory. If the investigator really know what he is doing, he will get you more and more uncomfortable until you give tells. And they have their time. I mean, depending on the country and of the laws in the country, they can take like 5 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, until you're tired enough to give it up.
What about the common people? Like, let's say you showed us like the body language basics, and we know that now. So, for instance, like obviously you're much more trained than we are. So, if you know those basics, like, are there any ways that like you can trick us? Like, in a way, like you said that moving around the room would means that you're not comfortable with the space. But like, for instance, some people will watch that and try to see whether you're telling a lie while you're doing something else.
Cut. Yeah.
Like a hide
Narihodo. Okay, I got this. Well, the point is, you only can trick the people if they don't care. So when I'm moving around here, that's not tricking people. I'm not even trying to trick the people because people too smart to be tricked. What I'm doing here when I move around, I want to assure your participation. I do not think that I could trick you. Maybe I could trick you if I'm psychological enough and I have like, maybe after 3 or 4 bottles I can trick you and make you believe I'm drunk. But I don't think so. It's like, if the body is not doing what the brain is saying, then it's not working right. So if I can't give you the answer to your question, so if I looked at him, and it's really difficult. If you ask me a question, I answer to you. And it depends on every person. Sure, they are a person, they come to a certain level, over jump a frame. Let's say you got, your eyes can collect 25 frames per second. And there are people, you give them a question, and for a split second they have a facial expression or body expression, and they jump over and try to overplay it. But for a split second, this will be there. And if you pay attention, I cannot trick you. Period. More questions? You got Rocky.
In your talk, you have mentioned several times how Japanese culture differs. Is Japanese culture really that different from the rest of the world?
The Japanese people, they lived on an island and they had a long time of war, which was the time of the warring states. And after this time, they had a long time of peace. And this country was ruled by a warrior class called samurai. It's the one who serves you, samurai, right? And the problem in peacetime, as a warrior, you're not really needed. So what they do is, all the things, the little Budo stuff we know, all our little karate and stuff, that comes from an era of peace. The real wartime Budo, most of the people don't know, because it was only preserved in few koryo, they called, the old style called koryo, like Daito-ryo or Katori Shinto-ryo, stuff like this. So that's the old violent style. The new styles are they like stylistic. So what they did, since they wanted to be feeded from other people, they're still warriors and they don't want to die and they want to have land and they want to get feeded, they actually put the warrior class on their own level, what they call bujin. And this person is supposed to be the perfect being. And if you live this for 300 years, you'll change a lot. And these people are trained from like their 6th year up till they die. So they can take a high amount of pain without showing it. Because they have been told from childhood on. But who of us is told from childhood on how to behave on body language? All of us. But have we been told from childhood on not to show any signs of interaction? No, because you have friends, you have the kindergarten, you have the school, and all this stuff. So you have been trained from society all your life long to show expressions. And that's different in the Japanese culture in the time after Sekigahara. The warrior class, not everybody, the warrior class have been trained to show as least expressions as possible. Except for there were several exceptions where it's okay to show expressions, or where they had to. If you read the book of the 47 Ronin, you'll understand. More questions?
What are you by profession? What is your profession, except for
I'm
being
a
a hacker?
I'm a hacker.
Except, I mean, what...
I'm a hacker. I break into computer systems.
You mentioned Aikido a lot in Japan. So
Yes, that's not my profession. My profession is I'm a hacker. What I do is usually the client calls me and say, we have a secure system, and I say, no, you're not.
So who hires you?
Huh?
How you can be hired?
What?
Who hires you?
Companies like banks or government officials or dollar random other companies. I cannot tell you because there's something what we call NDA. That's a non-disclosure agreement. And people who hire me most of the time do not appreciate if I talk about this. So I get hired by companies for breaking things, for reasons. More questions? You want some raki? No. One more, then, okay.
Can you please repeat some literature in this area, which you recommend?
Yes, I will
for
post
further studies.
I will post the slides, and I will create a new slide with links where you can download PDF files which can give you more information.
Well, thank you very much.
I don't train martial art, I train Budo. I'm the German head of Daito-ryo Aiki Jiu-Jitsu. Yes. But that has nothing to do with you. More questions? No? Thank you. You're a great audience.